Right, so in the last part, this previously was absolutely dirty. It's now back to its former glory. Each connected on bit by bit. So I was on about the grease. It's packed in from the back. The water comes in. It doesn't get into the back and cause the corrosion that you see. So that one's done. Get the camera into place. I've been working on this side as well. Thought I'd let you join in with us on the very last connector, which is the blue white. All the rest I've now done. Doing these ones is a little bit tricky. I showed in last video how it was done. But I thought there was a tongue back here. Normally is on these connectors, hence the thought, but it's actually back down here. So to reach down, pull that tongue back. There we go. Should be able to just wiggle it loose. Bring the last one out. Oh yeah. So I wanted to show you on this one. This one's not looking very good. There we go, out it comes. Yeah, it's just not looking pretty. Really disgusting one this is. And like I say, you leave these connectors much longer. As you can see, it's already doing it. The blue corrosion starts to get onto the copper contact. Once it's got enough of the copper contact here, the power just stops. So, you know, effectively from here, this has no conductivity or anything. So we need to give it a clean up. So before we do that though, I just want to make sure its recess is clean, so we're not putting it back in a dirty hole. Trying to do this without getting the other connectors because they've all been cleaned up and whatnot, so I don't want to try and touch them as much as I can. Got some contact cleaner in there. Blow it out. And as you can see, you can see all the cream coming out the back. It's lovely. That's what was stuck in there. Now with the recess done, it's just time for this. Take a bit of your contact cleaner. One's picking up quite a bit. Now take your contact cleaner, just give it a scrub. So apply some contact cleaner. That does it. Your main concern for female contacts is in here. These two little tangs here, they're pressing down like that, and obviously your metal contact on the other side in the male block up here is essentially just going to slot in there like so, and these two would essentially, best way to put it, if that's put in there, they're going to kind of, there's the flat surface on the bottom, and they're just kind of push down on top, give it that contact and hold it in place. So if this is looking bad, the camera can pick it up. I mean, you can see it. You can see in there some little bit of there we go, corrosion in there. Well, it's not looking nice for it. So you want to get that out. As I said, a couple contact cleaner is your friend. Don't hold back. Best way is just stab some bristles of the toothbrush in there and just brush it out. It's hard to get in there. If these are too bad in here, just, as I said, just replace them. More trouble than they can be worth sometimes. But we're looking in there, seem to get all the old grease out. So You want a nice clean connection. I still can't stress enough how many electrical issues on vehicles are caused just by something as simple as this, and can be rectified by doing something as simple as this. It's a bit monotonous, a bit tedious, but as I said, bloke, you should start to look pretty clean in there. Next step is our Dremel. Now, these Dremel tools are magnificent for this job. If not, you do it with like just a manual wire brush and it'll take you ages, but get a Dremel, it does it beautifully, it cleans them up lovely. Down the middle. The aim is to remove as much of that bluey green copper corrosion as you can get. Look at the sides as well. The problem is, if the blue corrosion, if the blue corrosion's on a terminal long enough, it will remove that coating that is put on these, like anti-corrosive coating, like zinc coating. And as you can see, I've now removed the corrosion, but you can see it's so hard to tell, but the colour of the metal's slightly changed, and that's because the zinc coating has come off due to the corrosion and me removing it. But as long as you keep that dielectric grease in the right place, it's not a problem. Nice and shiny again, that's it. Fair, the rest ain't been like this. Most of them, they've actually cleaned up pretty nicely. This is the most corroded of the lot in this block. Now it's done. One last brush off. See the difference now. Nice and shiny. Because it didn't look like that before. So that should look. There we go, I think we've restored that one. Nice and shiny again, the copper contact's nice and shiny. There we go. Before it does go back in, there's one thing you can do. It's a massive help to the connection. It's taking some small pliers. Let's go on it. And very gently Bring them down a little bit. Minimal pressure just to bring them down a little bit. That's it. Same this side. Minimal pressure. Down it goes. There we go. Like that. That'll just allow basically when the male terminal connects back into the female terminal, it gives more of a grip and a bite, better bite, and holds better. Now before we do put that back in as well, there's one last job. We apply the grease correctly. Not slap it all on there like, well, I don't know. I mean, I had a comment recently where someone said he's doing the same, well, encountering some of the same issues on his Triumph, and he's encountering grease all over the connectors as well. So I am on the belief that this is done at the factory, which completely shocks me that they would do this at the factory. They would do it like that at the factory. I thought they would know better and do better and apply it a bit more properly, or just actually use waterproof connectors altogether. The difficult part is a waterproof connector, or one of these, compared to this one, would cost maybe £1 or a couple of pence more. Doesn't sound like much, but when you add it up over bike per bike per bike per bike, and you're trying to make a production profit, yeah, so they cut the corners. This is where they cut the corners. So it's all doubled up nicely. As you can see, the main bit of contact inside has no grease, but the other bits, I've covered them in grease. Same in the back, it's got grease on. That's the best way to do it. Keeps the main area clean, but the rest of it corrosion free. Now, all we got to do is put it back in the connector block. It should just fit back in, nice like that. Now we're not going to finish off there. So this is the problem. What happened before, now we're all back to how it should be. Let me just bring it up a bit. Now we're back to how he was with these two connectors. There we go. My only assumption is whoever did do it, or whenever it was done, is they took a massive chunk of dielectric grease, like so. I'm not going to do it because I've just cleaned all these out and just slobbled it right down here, packed it down here, and closed it in. No, just no. It's what made the mess this bike is in. So what we're going to do is, as I've shown on this one, we just bring it in. All we need to do is pack grease in from the back. That's where the water's getting. While this is all connected here, rainwater moisture doesn't really get into the middle areas. It gets in through the back ends and the other ends, and that's the area that you need to protect. You need to focus on protecting. So, like I said, instead of, as they done with these, I think they just slopped it in here. What we're going to do is protect in here, because this is where the water gets in. You can see them all exposed here. Bit of rainwater, bit of moisture. Motorbikes, they get see a lot of rainwater and whatnot, so it'll get in here, corrode all these little bits. As we saw, the corrosion works its way down, and then eventually gets to here, fails the connector. So to fix it, you can see just pack in here. We've got to hold back on the mounts, but as you can see there, rainwater hits that, it's not going to get in. Rainwater hits that, it get in. That's the difference. So you just want to pack each one, pack each slot, even the one that doesn't have one in, because that allows rainwater to get into the inside of the connector. So pack that one as well. There we go. Look at that. Don't leave any gaps. Try not to leave any gaps. That's where the rainwater will get in. If you give it away, water will find that way. Same at the back. You just want to pack it in there. You may use quite a bit of dielectric grease doing this, but it protects the connector and it's more than worth it. Now, how much is dielectric grease connector? Dielectric grease to tin, it's a couple of bob. As opposed to paying me to do this, it far outweighs the cost. If it was like this, I probably never need to be actually touching this connector in the first place. Or, well, as I said, if it was a waterproof connector, wouldn't even need to touch it. And there we go. It's all packed in, all full now of grease, and that's waterproofed properly. And that's that one done. I mean, there's a good case in point. Jeep, bring it up with me. Here we have a waterproof connector on the vehicle. This one here, as you can see at the back, there's rubber seals in the back over the insulation connectors. Same at the back here, there's two seals in this side. You can also see here, there's a rubber seal here. Let me take it out, show you. There you go. See the rubber seal here, it'll stop the water actually getting in the inside the connector. And in there's your metal two prongs, and in there, as you can see, it's completely fine in there. There's no need for me to touch that connector, it's absolutely in fine condition. And I know, well, pretty much not 99.99999% sure if I did disassemble this connector, the prongs in there would be absolutely sparkling clean. And that's the difference between using a waterproof and a non-waterproof. You can get blocks like these big enough to take these, so if they had these at their disposal, why not use these? This is the problem with automotive wiring, especially from the factory. They don't do it as good as you think they do. That's me done for the night. I've got to replace these. That's part of the heated grip connector. There's that block at the back there that needs to get done. That's a lot of wires there, and that's no different to how this one was. Once that one's done, we can put the front end of the vehicle back on. So start putting some bodywork back on. We've got a fuse box to do. Then the main point of concern from there is, the Bernie connector down there, as you can see. This is the next area we've got to have a look at. This is that's your stator connector. That's your regulator rectifier connector. They're not looking good. But these problems come from essentially bad connections. I mean, it all derives from that. See, that's how they've been looking. That's how they should look. Okay. Let me go this side. And I can get in there and see in there. That's how they're looking. That's how they should look. Clean contacts. It's a nice clean connection. I would no doubt that all of this has been causing so many electrical issues for this poor guy and this poor bike. That's it, me done for the day. Time to get some dinners. Till next time.